not a freaking space shuttle, right?
It's not
like it's just a car. When a car fails, most of the time it just stops and you get out, right? But when a submarine or a space shuttle fails, everybody dies.
Or a plane.
If a car just catches fire, usually
get out.
You just step out.
Get out of it, right?
Unless it's a Pinto.
Unless, I mean,
the doors get jammed shut from the rear ending.
Somebody call Paul Walker.
All right, and welcome back to Do or Die. How's everybody doing in the house? I'm doing good, so I'll just say that for myself. Dwayne, how you doing?
I'm doing so good, Rami. Thanks.
Good.
I'm
glad
for asking.
You're welcome. We're back here now. We got Miami J. He's on the mic. You can actually speak into the mic tonight?
Hola, Rami.
Look at that. He's learning. I like it. Nice work. With Chef. Hi, Chef.
No hat on Miami J.
Dur Fascination, Mr. Dur Fascination, and all the other stuff. JP, how you doing?
I'm doing A-okay, except we got him a hat and he's not even wearing it.
So Miami J normally is talking up a storm, but you put a mic in front of him and he talks in Spanish only.
Yeah, he gets a little silent. It's all right.
I only speak when I have interesting things to say.
I only speak when I'm spoken to.
Only speak when spoken to, please.
Yes.
When does that ever happen?
I don't know.
That is not the case.
Can we go ahead?
Okay.
Please.
Can I just bring up the sub drama?
Oh God,
it's been morbidly fascinating for me. I mean, I try to avoid it, but
the whole nation, the whole world.
Once you watch one thing, all the algorithms start pointing you to sub stuff, and we're talking about the homemade
by the
sub.
time this comes on, it's
gonna be old news. It is, but I want to touch on it just briefly because as someone who you're already laughing, as someone who builds things, I mean, hindsight's 2020. I was gonna screw that one up just to throw you off. Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight's 2030, Robbie.
2030. And you could see that this thing was poorly built.
Yes.
Am I the only one that
No.
could say that? Okay, everyone knows that.
First time I saw it, I was like,
fiber.
they're dead. They're dead.
You've seen the things that James Cameron descends down it.
That
It's
thing
like
was
a ball
amazing.
made out of steel. It's extruded. Like there's no seams, right?
Correct.
There's no place where it can
fail.
pop a hole unless there's like the 5,000 titanium.
How far
bolts
down
that
was
hold
it? Over a mile?
It's 8.5 Empire State Buildings. I learned that fact today.
2.5 miles.
2.5 miles.
2.5 miles.
Like that's harder than space.
Oh yeah.
That's harder than
it's
going
way
into
harder than
space.
space.
Like because of the pressure. Yeah. It's the pressure of the water. So
More
you got
people
atmospheric pressure plus the water pressure. Oh my God.
More people have been to space than have been that deep in the ocean.
That's correct. What was that, Chef? It is harder than Miami J at a strip club. Miami J at a strip club is scary. It's scary. It's very scary. But yes, I agree with you. It was poorly built. And look, if those people were going to go down there, they knew what they were getting into. Like you look at that thing and you're like, okay, there's no seats. It's a tube made out of carbon fiber.
$250.
I doubt if they knew what they were getting into. They knew there was some dangers, but I'm pretty sure they felt that they were going to make it back to the surface. I mean,
they were praying, they were hoping. See, here's the thing: the guy was a salesman, and he was selling a product that was piss poor. Okay, it was underdeveloped, a bad product. What was that, Chef?
$2 million a launch?
Well,
he's a grifter
per seat. But here's the thing: now it's coming out that you're right. He's a salesman.
He's going to get.
He was bringing journalists on that he was going to be taking down to Titanic, and a couple of them showed up and they went on a test dive and they're like, "No, we're out." Like major CNN journalists, and they're like,
and they were like, "Oh, malfunction."
Well, no.
Sorry, guys.
It was like major malfunction.
Exactly.
Oh, well, we can only go 100 feet, and it's like, come on. Yeah. Well, because they didn't want the press, right?
That's right.
Oh,
well, no. They wanted the press.
No. Bad press, I'm saying. Well, if something catastrophic happened.
No. It was the press that didn't want to go down, not that they wouldn't let the press.
No. I saw an interview with a guy, and he said there was a malfunction.
You're right. But there was two major journalists at different times that got there and took the test dive, examined things, said, you know what? I don't feel right. And
there was that too. They backed off.
It's kind of like these Craigslist projects you see for car projects that are like, it's a Porsche 917, but what it really is like somebody in their basement was messing around with like Fiero parts and Volkswagen hubs, and then they found a body that doesn't. It kind of looks like a 917, and then they slapped it on there.
It's
and
sad.
It's trash.
It's sad.
Now,
I mean, it's sad that those people died. It's sad that the whole thing happened. It's sad. And is it the same mindset as like going to Everest? Is it like that excitement or the risk? Is that what it is?
I think it's like a thing that so few people have done that it's a badge of honor. Like, I've been to the Titanic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Going to the Everest like requires skill and effort. Getting in that stupid bathtub, you just. What do you mean not everyone?
Loads of people die on Everest. You kidding?
No. I said it requires skill and effort. It's nothing like getting into. Yeah, it requires a lot of work.
I don't mean the practical part, JP. What I mean is the risk part. Yeah. Like these people must have known it's risky.
Right, but in the stupid submarine, you just get in there and you're just sitting there on a
pillow. You're right. It's a totally different thing, but it's also the risk there. The risk factor's there. It's like, I dove the Titanic. What was that?
Oh my goodness,
Chef! They were.
I'm glad Chef doesn't have a mic.
Not Indian, Chef.
Oh my God!
So there were no Indians in there, Chef. There was a Logitech off-the-shelf controller that has been completely lampooned to no end on TikTok and every other social media.
You're
platform.
right, but here's the thing: the military uses those too because people are familiar with those. Right? All it is an input.
Well, no, hold up. The military uses a thing that looks like an Xbox controller. This is an actual off-the-shelf controller.
Fair enough. But it's...
And I saw a gamer guy was like, I know this controller inside and out. It's one of the worst. Like, it loses wireless connectivity all the time.
Yeah, it was wireless.
It was wireless.
I saw wireless.
Wireless. Now,
oh, no.
Listen, as a hardcore gamer, I bought a mouse. This is like during the height of wireless.
Wait, you're a gamer? Why am I not surprised?
During the height of wireless mice, gamers would buy a mouse that had a cord because you would never. It was
you don't want to lose.
It's called latency.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you need a
wow. Is that what it looked like?
JP, that's it.
That's it.
They just put some extra knobs on it.
That is it.
Like put protrusions.
Rubber cones.
It's got titties.
Yeah, it's got the little nibbles. They said that they had a few extra ones on board in case it failed.
Oh my God!
Great. Well, for $50, it's not much of a ding to the budget there.
I mean, would you go up into space in something like that?
No.
Why would you go underwater?
And again, I admit, I became, because I've been a little under the weather, I became fascinated, and they were talking about how this thing was built. Yeah. And they, when you build something like James Cameron's
Chef,
sphere,
have you done this? Have you been in the room before?
Every nut and bolt is built to spec, right? They were saying that this thing had hardware, like off-the-shelf washers and stuff on it.
The ballast system... Get this.
Was pipes.
Was leftover construction lead pipes, and how you release them was everyone would get over on this side of the sub. Hey guys, we need to release the ballast. Everyone come over here. The ballast would fall off the ledge.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I do know.
That's how janky this is.
I do know when they said dive, they literally had everybody move to the front, and then when they ascended, they had everybody move to the back.
That's
wait,
freaking,
what? Yes,
no.
Yes, it is. That is the truth. I'm dead serious. I'm not joking. Everybody get up towards the front.
Oh my God, look at that. Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
It looks like an amoeba. What in the hell is that thing?
The window, the porthole.
Amoeba, another 5 astronauts.
Oh no.
Yeah. Or Subnauticas. What are they called?
The porthole on that thing was 20 inches, which was pretty big, right? It was only rated to 1,300.
Just making up words all night. Oh my God! Look at that picture. Jesus, is that the guy? Did he die?
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel. Is that inside?
Wait, go back to that picture.
That's inside.
So the only button on the craft is visible in that.
Yeah.
So that is literally the only button in there.
Look at the door latch. It looks like it belongs on a Robin Reliant.
So that's not the door latch. The door latch. There's only.
What is that?
They basically they put the titanium cap on, and then they
bolt it shut,
and then they bolt it shut.
Yeah, you can't get out.
Death trap.
Yeah.
There's literally no
escape.
Didn't we learn that? Even if they got up to the surface, they couldn't get out because they're bolting in.
Didn't we learn that from the Gemini missions, like explosive bolts? Like, oh my God, what is happening?
That wasn't in a budget.
Apparently,
you got a set of Craftsman sockets in the bolts.
I saw another video of the head designer today, and something stood out. He said, "We built this thing really fast."
Oh my God. Well, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits.
You don't want to build spacecraft or submersibles fast.
And like when you build those things, you've got to track every part all the way through the build.
Yeah.
Everything, every nut, every bolt, every washer, piece of metal, whatever, everything.
And those things, all those nuts and bolts are X-rayed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There can't be any imperfections.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about some seriously high precision stuff. And like
carbon fiber.
Like Porsches are.
I mean, that part I don't...
has a tensile strength.
Yes,
but it also has a crush strength.
Absolutely.
So if it has like wear and tear on it, it gets weaker and weaker. This thing's been down. And
the thing with this is a submersible, right? It's not a submarine, right? It doesn't have propulsion. It doesn't have a system for rebreathing and all that and producing water and everything else. It does
have propulsion.
Yeah, but it's they're thrusters.
10 horsepower thrusters.
They're thrusters. It's not propulsion. You can't move through the water with it. You can maneuver, but you either ascend or descend. That's it.
3 knots.
Yeah, you're not going to cruise that thing to Africa. No. And it's usually attached to the mothership, whatever that is.
Knots, not alive.
Oh, God. Yeah. These jokes are already started, the bad jokes. 5 aquanauts dead.
I mean, look, here's the thing. I have no problem if some a-hole wants to go down to Home Depot and get a bunch of, rubber pallets or whatever and start just go to town, dude. If you want to sink and go to the bottom of the ocean, or if you can build a rocket to get yourself out of the atmosphere, knock yourself out. I think that's awesome. But you start charging people money to ride on your stupid little thing. Look, I'm an ANCAP. I'm all about, I'm full capitalism. I don't think there should be any regulation, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you should be sued to oblivion, which they are going to be. And unfortunately, the guy who's really responsible is dead. So how much money is there really to go after this guy?
And the billionaire who died
doesn't need money.
I feel bad for this guy because he took his son with him.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bunch of old guys.
God,
and then
what?
The billionaire brought his son along, who looks like 19.
I thought he was at a Blink-182 concert.
No, that's the stepson. That's the one who should have
No, the stepson should have.
So you're right. Like, if you want to go out there and cobble something together, like, what's that place out where the Roy sign is? I forgot the name of it.
Roy's
in the desert. Yeah.
So there was a guy that they called him Rocket Man, and he would build rockets and launch himself up.
Oh, that guy.
Rocket Man.
I know that guy.
Which is fine.
He's not. Last time he went out there.
No, I'm saying it's fine if he wants to blow himself up. It's great, but don't. He doesn't charge people to go on the rocket, right?
He was a flat earther who was going to prove the world was flat. So he launched himself in a home-built rocket, and guess what happened?
He didn't make it.
It was shocking. He believes the Earth is flat.
He was.
Hey, JP.
Yeah, buddy.
Wow, how does that even work?
Chef has a question, guys.
Yes, Chef?
Besides the suit, it's probably going to be a lawsuit. What about
Besides the lawsuit?
billions of dollars that all these governments
Yeah, that's a good point.
to send all
All the billions that the Coast Guard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
All right,
all the rescue.
Hold on. So Chef is asking a question because you probably can't hear him. He's saying, all right, forget the lawsuits. What about all of the resources that were spent trying to find these poor people? Who pays for that? Taxpayers, right?
Yeah, of course.
What's interesting is a boat capsized yesterday or something that had 70 migrants on it.
No one even heard about it.
And it was not a news. So
no billionaires on that boat.
Versus 5, right? And this has been the talk of the...
Yeah, that's the thing. And that money that was spent on trying to find them, we could have helped a few.
Yeah, and that was a question during this whole thing. Like, who pays for this? And the Coast Guard said, it's the government. You know, just like when you go out in your boat and it sinks, we don't save you and give you a bill. So
yeah,
to bookend this, I think they figured out what happened. It imploded. And,
of course,
and they were able to survey the area around the Titanic.
And they found debris.
Yeah. It was only 1,000 feet away from the wreck of the Titanic. And James Cameron said something interesting, which he said the hubris of the captain of the Titanic caused what they think
it's the same
accident.
thing.
Same.
Because that guy just they're like a field of icebergs. He's like, punch it.
Yeah, punch it.
Like that'll do it good. This guy's it's the same thing. It's like this human trait of like, I'll be fine. I'm gonna push the envelope, even though it's completely unsafe and stupid. It's pretty much my whole life.
Says Ramen. Yeah,
kind of resonates with you.
I wrapped it up. Yeah.
Actually, Chef sent me a quote from James Cameron. It says
James Cameron
touring the wreck of the Titanic for $250,000, joining the wreck of the Titanic forever, priceless.
Oh my God, he did not say that. That man,
the old MasterCard.
wow.
It's a chefism there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a meme. Okay, that wasn't James
Oh,
Cameron.
it wasn't a quote
Oh,
from
I
James
apologize.
That
Cameron.
was
Yeah.
just a meme.
I don't
Just
want
a
James
meme.
Cameron coming after me for a lie. That was not James Cameron.
God,
Yeah,
the
speaking
jokes
of
are going to be
lawsuits.
flying.
Yeah.
I saw some guy get really upset. He's like, all the people on the internet. He's like, I knew these people. What the hell? Everybody's being. He was so upset. I'm like, dude, why are you getting upset about people on the internet? Who cares? Who cares?
I think there's kind of an opening when Darwinism takes place.
Yeah,
like
sure.
you have you feel like you have the right to lampoon them and
Sure.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think the captain. I think he.
we're calling him captain.
or
Well,
whatever.
I don't think we can call him
whatever
captain.
his name was.
More like
I think.
first
I think he
lieutenant.
was. I think he was
First
more
mate?
more aware
even know.
of the heightened risk on this shoddy sub. The people that paid money to go on it, I think they were clueless. I don't think.
You think they were duped? You
I
think
don't
they were
think.
duped?
Yeah, I think they were duped. I don't think they get the Darwin Award, but the captain.
I don't think
Sure.
they were duped. I think what happened was they paid an amount of money, or they.
Kid.
It's kind of like when you get to the edge of the bungee cord, and you have everyone on the bridge behind you. Like if you don't jump, you look like a total tool.
and you're going to lose your deposit.
Exactly. You're going to lose the $250. This is what happened on.
But if you get to the end of the bridge and you're like,
Oceangate-
wow, that bungee cord is really frayed.
By the
I'm
way-
not jumping.
Yeah.
Don't name your company Gate. Don't have Gate in your company title. Heaven's Gate, Ocean's Gate,
Is it
Water
Ocean's Gate? Is that
Yeah, it
what
was Ocean.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I know. Heaven's Gate,
Yeah.
Deep Sea Adventures.
They were all on the highway to heaven. Oh my God, we're gonna go to
They
hell.
were going to find the
We're all
aliens.
going to hell.
James Cameron's Abyss aliens. Yeah.
Oh my God, they found the abyss.
JP, you're
Anyway.
oddly silent over there. I mean,
Anyway,
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
how
here it
this
comes, here it
relates
comes.
To, no, dude, I have no take on this other than just. I mean, you guys said it a lot. Anybody that would get on this thing, they didn't deserve it. But
No.
I mean, come on, some amount of.
Would
I mean,
we
you-
be saying the
Self-preservation?
same thing if Branson's Virgin space thing blew up? You know, and
yeah,
yeah.
the
I
people
think-
that got on
Well,
there.
no, there's a little more R&D behind that. I mean, Virgin's a huge
but it's
company.
even when
Branson is.
you're right. But even when it happened, I was like, look, they took the risk.
Yeah.
You know, they knew that thing was experimental.
I think
there were test pilots.
I don't think there were any tourists on.
No,
any
they were
of those
test
things.
pilots.
Wait,
They were-
that was Blue Origin.
The one that blew up was
Yeah.
test pilots. Yeah,
no,
and
no,
Virgin.
I'm talking about the ones that went as Blue Origin, the people that paid all that money to go right to the edge of space, right?
I didn't know about that one.
Was that the Amazon? Was that
Yeah,
Bezos?
That's the
Yeah,
Amazon
Bezos,
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that thing was probably $1 billion. I mean, look, a billionaire died on the submersible. A billionaire didn't build the thing. You know,
Right.
you got someone like Bezos or Musk or whatever. They ain't building a piece of junk. One of those guys know what the hell they're getting into.
And even Musk's rockets blow
Actually,
up all
you're
the time.
wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Musk is responsible for the Tesla. So
Yeah.
Which I don't like, but is not a piece of junk. I mean, let's be honest.
That's a stretch.
Mr. Politically correct over here.
That's a stretch.
You know
JP.
what, JP,
Have you ever
you're right.
driven a Tesla?
No, wait a second. Because on the way over, I don't know if you
drives
guys,
you, right?
if you guys realized, I switched cars because I was driving over in the 911 and the roof blew off. Happens all the time.
Just ejected. It's like, see ya.
Oh wait, that was the Tesla.
That was a Tesla. Oh, whoops. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, look, they risked it and they rolled the dice and now they're dead. That's it.
Well, I mean, how many guys went out and have? I mean, look, you build cars all the time, Duane, and you know, you just drove to Luftkult and you got there in this 50-year-old car that you've spent a lot of time kind of messing with all the bolts and screws and everything like that. And even though you know
73?
that car inside
75.
and out, you got there and there were some things that broke, right? You were
No.
well, I do seem to remember you using a lift
No, yeah.
in the Airbnb.
The heat got
trying
stuck
to
on.
yeah.
But
My
you
car
make a
broke
valid
too.
point because listen, like that was the number one thing on my mind was safety. So a couple weeks before, actually a month before, I had planned to get someone else to look at it, someone that I figured knew what they were doing to double check all my work. So I took it to Godden. And I said,
Oh, nice.
I told Dan, the
Our
air-cooled
sponsor.
tech down there, I said, listen, I think I did a pretty good job, but I need somebody else to go over and double check all the suspension. Yeah, torque it up because I don't want to be going down I-5
the wheel
80
comes
miles
off.
an hour and something falls apart because my life is worth more than whatever you're going to bill me to double check my work. So
Nice.
that's where Oceangate failed, right? It's not, it wasn't certified.
Yeah.
Certified is other people checking your work and saying, dude, you can't use a carbon fiber tube to withstand pressures of this magnitude.
Or these tolerances aren't going to work.
They purposely kept other independent third parties from looking at it.
Exactly.
Because they were saying like, hey, listen, this is crazy. At least let us take a look at this thing. And the guy's like, no. And then his take on it is that any type of third party regulation would slow down innovation. And yeah.
Wow. Sounds like China.
That's bad. I like what you're saying though, JP, because when I go to car shows, you want to encourage young guys who do crazy stuff to their cars. Like you see what are these EXO cars where they'll buy a decent car like I don't even know, older Supra or something.
Yeah.
Take 1,000 pounds off of it. And
Yeah.
it turns it into a supercar because it's now so light.
Sure.
Is it safe though? Sometimes you see some crazy, things that I don't
I
know
saw
if
some stuff
get
last
in this.
night that was not safe.
Right.
Well, if you're taking
So-
1,000 pounds out of a
all the safety equipment's gone.
Yeah,
right.
it's probably not safe.
Well, they weld these cages around them to.
Yeah, but that
the
doesn't
safety.
mean it has crumble zones. It doesn't mean it's
It-
gonna.
it
You're
doesn't.
still
Right.
gonna get fucked.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you're
So
gonna get
like,
messed up.
there's a fine line between enthusiasm for innovation and
I-
do-it-yourselfers. But
yeah, I
then-
can't talk. I mean, like all my cars are death traps. So
Yeah.
Right, but you still
Right, JP?
have professionals work on your cars.
yeah, I do.
So
yeah, I
there's
don't do the
there's
work myself.
still they're torquing to spec.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, we're still talking about personal responsibility, and
Yes.
you're in your car and you're driving it. You're the one that's gonna, burn to death if you crash. If
Right.
the fuel system sprays all over the interior and lights on fire.
Yeah.
You're not
Tire
charging
comes off
other
at
people to get in the
130.
car. And we're all known to drive maybe in an irresponsible manner, and maybe we are putting other people at risk. And so that's a real thing that we have to think about. But, you're not building something that is just so incredibly dangerous that the likelihood of anyone who gets in it is very, very, very high. I mean, I heard them read the disclaimer. I was just looking for it. That these guys have to sign the waiver that they got to sign to get in there. And it straight out says this thing is not certified. This thing is not regulated. It hasn't been inspected by any regulatory body. And that's what makes me kind of go, wait a minute. You read that disclaimer and still got in this?
So one of
Who reads
the
the
one of
disclaimer?
the people that had gone down prior said, and it mentioned on the first page of that disclaimer, there was the word death 3 times on the first page.
Jay, how many times did they go down before this happened?
Oh man, that's the problem. This
another
thing
thing,
went down so many times, and just like an aircraft, right? Where the skin expands and contracts.
Absolutely.
it gets fatigued.
Absolutely.
They're saying that plastic window would move in 3 inches in and out.
Wait,
the
wait.
pressure.
Yeah, I don't
Is
doubt
that
it.
3 inches?
3
Oh, I don't
inches.
doubt that at all.
Crap.
Dude, I mean, you're 2
This was the
miles
lead
down.
designer guy.
The pressure's crazy.
Man, that's so. What else is happening between those 2 caps? If that window
Yeah.
is moving 3 inches, think about the pressure that's on.
Oh, the pressure's insane. It's
Yeah,
insane.
any kind of aircraft or any kind of commercial vehicle or whatever, it has to be inspected by either, like the airlines do their own
Dude, I mean,
inspections. Then there's
yeah.
FAA inspections on top of that.
You go up
there's-
and down an elevator in a building, your ears pop, right? If you guys have been scuba diving, you move like this much underwater and your ears are like popping like crazy. You have the atmospheric pressure, then you've got the pressure of the water, plus the pressure of the rotation of the earth, all bearing down on you, and you're that close to the core of the earth.
Plus,
It's super dangerous. Crazy.
Somebody farted in that tube, so you want to crack a window, and it's like you're stuck in there.
Stupid.
So
Was there a bathroom in it? Speaking
No,
of that?
there's
there
no, but
is
no.
a bathroom. That's the
Huh?
crazy thing.
What? There was a bathroom?
No,
There was a
there was a
hole.
bucket.
No, yes,
There might be a hole, but
No.
yeah.
Well,
No, there
was
actually was
privacy
a
curtain.
chemical bucket and a privacy curtain.
No way.
Right.
Weird. Oh, it's just weird. I wouldn't get in that thing. You imagine? Can you imagine?
Do you think
You're 2 miles down, someone's like, oh, I got to take a crap. You're like, what the hell? Now?
Take a crap
Well,
on
I'm
the boat
nervous.
earlier.
I got to crap.
You know that they're cutting corners when you're about 200 feet underwater. Like, hey, would you like a beverage and a snack? And the guy hands you the Southwest,
The peanuts.
the Southwest stuff that he nicked off the last flight.
He's like
The blue chips. You got some blue chips.
For $255,000, you get a sandwich. But
And maybe a Coca-Cola.
Get the little bottles of alcohol.
Can you imagine bringing a Coca-Cola down there? It would just crush.
No, yeah, I don't think that would work. Well, no,
not inside.
Yes, inside.
No.
Yes.
How would they survive?
You guys
can't
don't
be-
understand.
right,
The
it has to
pressure's
be
still there.
equalized.
So no, it's not because the guy who went down in the sub, he said he went halfway down and he had styrofoam cups and they turned into like rubber balls
Really?
inside the sub. Yeah, the pressure's still in there. You can't keep it all out. Huh. That's the thing. And if you rise too quickly, you get the bends. The whole thing is like crazy dangerous. Like
It's a nightmare.
Like it's like everything points to no, don't
Humans
do this.
don't belong down there.
Yeah, not only that. Well, if you do it with like NASA, or Elon Musk,
Or Jacques Cousteau?
or
Or James Cameron.
or James Cameron.
Yeah,
That thing
James
he had,
Cameron
that
said,
thing
"Hey,
he
come
had
get
was
on this thing." I'd be
amazing.
like, "Oh, yeah,
Did you see
all right,
that thing?
why not?"
The sub he had.
Well, that's
yeah.
the thing, right?
It was
So
sick. It
they
was
were-
like
they
it
were
was
saying,
longitudinal. It was amazing.
Once you
That
get
looks like
down
it
to
could
that
withstand
depth,
pressure.
you really need to be in a perfect sphere.
And
is
when
what they
James
said.
Cameron did it, he had a couple of attempts and failed. There were things that went wrong. He went back up. They fixed it, and it was a one-time thing. This is like, oh, we're gonna just keep using this thing until it implodes. That's what happened.
Yeah, I
It is.
guarantee
Yep.
you his stuff is getting inspected every single time.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
more than
I
just
watched the
like, oh,
documentary.
yeah.
They went nuts. They had all these people looking at it. I mean, yeah, and plus it's James Cameron. You know, I mean, he's a big moneymaker for a lot of people. So,
For sure.
yeah, that's crazy.
For sure.
The whole thing is crazy. It's
So
crazy.
when does the movie come out? When is there going to be a
nice.
Netflix?
Oh, there's definitely going to be a movie.
It's like the same people that made the Fire.
the guy who cut his arm off, that guy, when they made the movie.
8.5 seconds.
Did the captain blow someone in order to not have to get the thing inspected? Is that how
No,
he got
there's
away with
no.
it?
there's
I'm the
no-
captain now. I'm the captain.
There's no regulatory commission.
anyone
now,
can make a
now,
sub.
Now there,
Now there
will
will
be.
be, yeah.
Just like the Titanic. It's ironic, but lifeboats on a cruise ship came about because of Titanic. Certain amount of lifeboats.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
regulations
so-
changed.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
hey, how about that?
Yeah. Whoop.
Well, I mean, that's the
Going
thing.
on
I think
camera.
it sucks most about this is now the whole thing's going to be regulated. Now there's going to be a bunch of. I mean, it's going to
Great.
be.
Now we can't build our own sub and
Damn it!
deep dive.
you know,
Damn.
it's just
JP, why don't we get a
season 3 of Wick's Garage?
why don't we get
Right
a
out
car and do a James Bond sub?
They're going to have.
Well, we're thinking of
somebody-
changing it to dirt or dive.
Oh gosh. Wow.
Well, look,
They
the
keep
thing
coming.
is, it's not like the
The hits.
regulatory thing is going to
The
help
hits just
anything.
keep
It's just
on
going to be
coming.
some people are going to make a bunch of money off it.
Well, they might.
They already
prevent-
have.
They might prevent some Yahoo from building a sub and taking people down,
Yahoo.
charging money, and
That's
killing
a
people.
That
So-
damn
That's
Yahoos.
a Florida term. Is it Yahoo?
I don't know what that's a Jason
Actually,
term.
I
don't
pulled
know
that
what
one
is.
out for you, D-Wayne. I figured.
Those darn Yahoos.
My mom used to say Yahoo.
Oh my god.
See?
You Yahoos.
Wow. Well, yeah, they're it's going to be a problem, and it's not going to go away. It's going to be in the news forever.
Yeah.
There are
I
more
don't-
important things in the world going on. Yeah.
No one's going to be. By the
It's
time
just-
we publish this, no one's going to be.
It's going to
talking
be
about
last
this thing
week's
at all.
story, but I still think it's funny because it just reminded me of again, seeing people's homemade cars
Yes.
and some of the effery. I didn't want to say the real word, but like some of the bad mods and
Sure.
terrible, unsafe things that I used to do as a teenager. I mean,
It shows you
other
how
people have been
how
doing,
powerful social media is, though. Everybody knows about it.
right?
Everyone.
It just-
Everyone
it
I've ever
gained
bumped
so-
into
it was like
in the
the
last 2
OJ.
days, everybody's talking about it. It's like OJ, right?
Yeah.
Like as soon as it's popular, like
Or a white kid falling in a hole.
OJ,
totally
OJ
white girl
was,
falling in a hole.
Timmy at
OJ
the
was
bottom of the
before
well.
social media.
Yeah, but the media was still pumping it out.
Media, yeah.
You know, it's either way. You know, like if social media is picking it up, the media is going to pick it up. You know, and they're just pushing this thing. It really what it is to distract everybody from what's going on. All the nasty in
It's
the
a red
world.
flag
Yeah.
operation.
Ah, I've got rainbows.
See, you got.
I got
just because
rainbowed. You see
brought it
that?
up, yeah.
I brought it up and it rainbowed me. They're watching JP.
The
They are
NSA.
so watching. It's
On
the
that
NSA.
note, let's take a break and see our friends at Godden Classic. Hey guys, I gotta tell you about our friends Godden Porsche of Las Vegas and Godden Classic. If you're looking for a new Porsche or a classic, you gotta call our friend Steve at Godden. This guy. Save yourself the hassle of screwing around with all the auctions like we always talk about, and just talk to Steve. He'll find you the classic Porsche you're looking for. Godden Porsche of Las Vegas. If you don't subscribe subscribe to Bid Nerds on YouTube right now. I'm gonna shoot this 997. If you said, wait, that's a 996, you're a nerd. So subscribe to the new YouTube channel, Bid Nerds.
Get those nerds! Welcome back. We're discussing submersibles on the Dirt or Dive Porsche podcast. They should make a Porsche submersible.
I think we should.
Do they have one? They have a Porsche
It's
bike.
got the right shape.
So
It's got the right
it
shape.
does.
It's very
sleek
aquatic.
and
Yes.
yeah, they could put the gold.
It's very
doors on it
hydrodynamic.
instead of the dome front thing.
Yeah.
So, Duane, a very good friend of ours has had a car in a shop for literally years being built.
Almost a decade.
Almost a decade.
Almost
and
a decade.
A good man, too.
Word on the street is that this car has wound up in your shop, and you're going to help our mutual friend finish this car.
Yes,
Should
indeed.
he be worried that
Yes.
the car
Just stop
might
there.
kill him
Oh no.
once it's done? What's going on with this car? Tell us about this car. I don't know.
Miami
Give us the
Jay
story.
brought up a point, and he said, well, or actually it was Chef.
Chef, yeah.
Chef said that, Duane, if you're afraid to drive your car after building it, how are you going to build someone else's car?
Mm-hmm.
And I said I should have clarified, Chef, that just mission critical components like a couple suspension points was what I wanted to have a second set of eyes. I think that's prudent, right?
Injection system.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
There are certain systems that are, keep the wheels on the car,
Prevent fires.
prevent fires.
I
Those
mean, look,
are mission
let's
critical.
be real. It's not a freaking space shuttle, right?
It's not.
like
And
it's got
my
500
standards-
criticality one, parts that if they fail, that it's going to result in the death of the crew and everybody.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's just a car. When a car fails, most of the time it just stops
Or pull
and you
over.
get out,
Yeah.
right?
Now-
but when a submarine or a space shuttle fails, everybody dies.
Or a plane.
Yeah, or an airplane.
I think
right.
we've all seen our fair share of the videos of the Porsche barbecues catching on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're very susceptible.
That's
I mean,
critical.
especially the
all
lower
But
cars.
ones.
even then,
All internal
usually,
combustion cars.
if a car just catches fire, usually
get out.
You just step out.
Get out of it, right?
Unless
And
it's a Pinto.
Unless, yeah, I mean,
The
in
doors
some
get
terrible.
jammed shut from the rear ending.
Somebody call Paul Walker. Yeah, it's did it?
I would edit that out. That's
That's just,
Oh,
bad.
it's
Oh,
just
stop
that's,
it, Jason.
That's just not okay. He's going to edit it out.
somebody's a Fast and Furious fan over there.
All right,
somebody
so but
sensitive.
for real though, tell us about
Paul
this
Walker.
car. I mean, forget
Yeah.
the whole danger thing. We're actually really.
Well,
curious.
let me speak to that real quick. So there is an element of risk when you have another person build your car. That's one of the reasons why I like to work on my own stuff is because I don't not that I don't trust other people. It's just I do it to the nth degree. Like I like a certain aesthetic. As what's his name in
Aesthetic ain't
Whiplash?
going to hurt anybody.
In Whiplash, he says, "Not quite my rhythm, not quite my tempo." This is what he says in the movie Whiplash. I know it's a random reference, but not quite my tempo. When I see some people's work, it's not quite my tempo. You know what I mean? It's not quite up to my specs.
That's a nice way of saying they suck.
Exactly.
Got it.
I'm not saying that about anything in particular. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying, like,
just in general.
that's-
Yeah.
like when I go to get work done, it's not quite up to my speed. Having said that, I want to bring that to other people. And John's a friend of mine, and we've been talking for years about this car. Like he confides in
What
me.
kind of car is it? What is it?
It is a 1985 Porsche 911 Carrera in slate gray. It used to be, I think, like ruby red or something. It was kind of an ugly duckling at first when he first got it.
What's so special about it? Why are you guys freaking out about it?
He's a designer, and actually he designed the Godin billboard you can see right in front of Godin Porsche.
Okay.
So he designed that. He's a very talented designer and has a marketing agency, but he's a Porsche enthusiast like us, and he put a lot of thought into every component of this car. Now, he is not mechanically inclined. He's artistically inclined, all these other things, marketing,
Right.
whatever. He's good at those things, but he's never had the interest, what's the word I'm looking for? Rami?
Aptitude.
Aptitude. That's a good one.
Yeah.
To Miami J pulls it out to build a custom car, though he wanted that.
Right.
So he started on this odyssey to
Of like making the car, putting it together. How many years?
almost a decade now.
Oh my
So
God.
there was a
complain.
gentleman, very talented gentleman in Southern California,
years.
who was building the car, and I mean this guy, we're cut from the same cloth. He has the little organized trays with.
You're like James May. You name them. You have names for each one.
Chromate.
This one's
bolts.
Jeffrey. This one's Thomas.
Just there was so much detail, and I think part of it was John set out to build a track car, and then the gentleman who started to build the car started to build a show car. Those two things don't coexist really. Like if you take a car on the track like Chef does.
Yeah,
you're putting wear and tear on that. You're not worried about rubber getting on the paint job or whatever, or
how'd that miscommunication
going off track
happen?
and slamming into the barriers or whatever. Like that's
how did that happen?
It just over time. I think. I mean, I
changed direction.
Yeah, it just kind of like if you're not there micromanaging every decision, then one person's doing the best they can, and it's becoming something else. I think. But anyway, long story short.
All right, so he gets the car back here, caretaker. Right? And now you have it.
Well, for the way I understand it, and maybe Duane, you know something different, but so the guy that was building it in the first place was really not. He wasn't a mechanical guy. He was more of an aesthetic guy. He was doing the paint and the interior and all that kind of stuff, and he had someone else that was going to do the engine or something. And then
he's not an engine builder. You're right. He is more on the
pretty side,
on the bolt.
He's the make it look pretty guy. He paints and all that stuff. So he got it to a certain point, and then interior. Never. So it's like all the interior and paint work was done, and then it got then it just kind of like stagnated, and then that's when the car got brought here to a shop in order to have the mechanical side of it done, because most of the aesthetic stuff was pretty much done.
Exactly.
So the idea was like, it'll get here and the shop will just knock it out. It'll take a few months because all it has to do is mechanical stuff.
Yeah, and I got to think that you spend so much money on a project. That's all fine and well, but the time becomes...
All of us in this room have been through that.
Yeah. Have you been through a 10-year project, though?
No, but close.
Yeah,
I mean Rami has... Level. I mean, you're...
7.
Your wet. I don't know. Your Defender has been off and on. I mean, it has driven here and there, but you had that Defender when I met you 8 years ago.
Oh yeah,
and it's been in various states, and it was gone for.
It's in the shop right now.
It's back in the shop now.
Who built the Kia?
Yeah.
The Kia.
Ridiculous.
Kia. Who built the?
Well, he bought
Kia?
It that way.
You bought it that way, so that was not your project, right?
It was built by a guy named Jess Peterson up in Vancouver.
Jess Peterson,
but not commissioned by you.
Famous Volkswagen engineer.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So famous Volkswagen engineer.
You didn't commission him though, so it wasn't on your timeline.
He bought it that way.
That's
the proper way to do it.
Way to do it. Let somebody else put all the time and money into it.
There it is.
And then you pick it
Look
up.
at that thing. So pretty.
We have Gia footage.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah.
That
it's
is
going to be for sale on BAT shortly here.
That is definitely the nicest Kia I've ever seen.
It's amazing.
I didn't know it had a pedigree builder.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
just like you.
I'm not a pedigree builder, although I mean I don't.
Well,
what's interesting is like I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I'm
what
just
are
compelled
you
to do it.
What are you going to do? Can you please tell us? Because all this build up. What are you going to do?
I think I'm gonna finish it.
Meaning?
It'll be driving, running, and
what
done.
Elaborate.
Okay, you want to tell me
what does finishing it mean?
What does it finishing mean? Tell me. Are you working on the fuel system? Are you putting the crankcase back together? Is the engine done? Like, is it running? Does it move? What's going on?
Wheel spinners. 2 words. Wheel spinners. No,
I got Rolls Royce wheel spinners. Stupid.
24K dates.
You're gonna definitely put the neons on it and have it drop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Good.
I mean, I've only really had an hour with the car. It needs a lot.
Engine wise.
Just everything.
Oh really?
Steering has
suspension?
no intake on it. The fuel system needs pretty much all new fuel system. The suspension just kind of bolted on.
You doing
so
ITBs?
It needs. Yeah, he's got amazing. What are they?
They're from England.
They're English ITBs.
So they'll
They're
never
just
work.
Gorgeous. I mean, listen, an
British?
ITB is a valve.
Yeah,
it's gonna work. I mean, it's.
I know.
It's not
I'm kidding.
Rocket surgery.
Yeah. Is the wiring loom in? The engine wiring loom?
Wiring.
Oh,
it
Jesus.
needs wiring big time.
Needs wiring.
It needs interior work. It needs.
Was John?
Dude.
Was our friend aware of all this? Because that's
kind of like
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so the stuff was put in there, and then the project changed direction, and then that stuff didn't work with the new stuff.
I've been down that road.
So it kind of like, if you try to change one part of it, you end up saying, like, I did the same thing with my car. Like, I changed something on the front end, and I was like, well, I need the same yellow Bilsteins on the back because I put the RSR Bilstein struts on the front. So I was like, that made me change the back, and then I changed the studs on the front. So I did it. It's like that kind of thing. It's a domino effect. But I'm excited. I'm optimistic that I can put it together, and I think there's a trap, which is don't try to change what's there too much. Just take what's there, get it running, get it driving, and then we can, if you don't like the deck lid at that point, then we can change little things.
So, when you're doing, do you pick certain things to work on first, or do you say, like, what is it? Is it like, I'm going to work on fuel?
Now. Yeah, fuel will be the first because I got to pull the tunnel lines, which is a daunting task. In my opinion, it requires pulling most of the front suspension, like the cross member, et cetera, whatever. I don't want to bore you with details.
No, it's all right.
It's a big job, and
that's why people listen.
And we were talking about safety earlier. I mean, that's a very.
You're gonna have to remove the whole front end of the car.
No, just like probably
the wings.
No. Just the
suspension.
Cross member, the suspension to get
underneath
the fuel lines underneath.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because there's a fuel pump up front and in the rear, right? Yeah.
On this one, there's only a fuel pump up front.
Okay, the turbos have the two. Right.
Correct. Yeah. But it's a spectacular car. I think it's like, it's very Singer-esque in its detail. It's kind of like when we had Dave Kealoha on the show last week, Flying Hawaiian. Yeah. It's kind of like that kind of car.
Wow.
It's a $200,000 car, all said and done. So.
I mean, it's a G-body. It's not. I mean, a Singer and a Hawaiian Flying Hawaiian is a backdate.
He chose not to backdate it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think that's. I'm not saying that's a bad choice. No. I'm not saying that he should have or something like that. But it's very tough to get that much money.
You're right. Like, could he sell it for $200K? Probably not. But to build the car,
how much do you think he has in it?
I don't know.
It's got to be close to that.
Anytime you hire multiple people to build a car,
that's what happens. I've just been down that road.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I even if I sell my Defender for, $400,000, I won't make any money. Yeah, so much money I've spent on it. So that's what
I told him. I said you should just keep this car and drive it because you have more money in it than you could ever get.
I'll never get it back
for sale.
How long do you think it's going to take you, Duane? I know you've got to be hesitant to put a time on it, given how much time it's been spent with other people, and. Yeah. So how much are you able to say, I think it's going to take this long?
What does Wik's Garage say?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a question that has been going through my mind a lot in the last 2 days. I think, number one, I don't want to put a time on it, but I don't want it to be longer than a year. So I'm going to say less than a year.
That's good.
And why I think I can do it in less than a year is because I just did my car, which required a lot of the same things: full suspension, full fuel system, dropped the engine, changed out the engine.
You definitely know your way around a fuel tank at this point after yours got smashed in L.A.
Yeah, so these are all things that are but again, I don't know what my personal schedule, if it's going to allow me to work on the car 6 hours a day. So that's going to be the question.
Right. That's the factor.
Yeah. It's going to require a solid 4 hours a day for months and months.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, because look, it comes down to one of these things where I know that he was friends with both people that started the job. And the last thing you want to do is not be friends by the end of something like this. So how do you manage?
I'm hoping to make him my enemy. This is something I'm taking
this is a good way to do it.
It's an easy way to do it. It's an easy way to do it.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah, and then from the side of the guys who are like us who do the projects, we get through one and we have a hard time doing it. It costs a lot of money. It takes forever, and then we're like, but then we go and do another one. Because there is joy in it. It is fun. Like I've got multiple ones going on right now. And even though there's headaches and, it costs money, it's fun. It's actually because the end result, you get something you really always wanted, and if it is what exactly you want, then you're happy.
Right.
Even if it breaks down, you don't care. I don't care if it breaks down. I just love driving it. So
Then there's something.
Isn't it part of isn't it partly like just managing expectations? I think that's
Yes.
where the previous two builders got in trouble, is that because their client was a friend, I feel like they just kind of like, well, I can always put my buddy's car on the back burner. I'm going to be giving him a deal, so I can make
I think
something
that's where
else a
I'm a
priority.
little bit different too. Is I only have the one garage space.
Yeah.
So whatever is in there has my focus. I was going to move my 914 in there, which would have been the next project car for me. But then this one is now in there, so it's not leaving until I can't work on my other things I want to do until that one's done.
Well, from what I learned from Daniel at German Motors is that if you're doing projects, right, and then you've got somebody who comes in and is like, oh, I need a top end on my car, I need brakes, I need oil, that's immediate money. Mm-hmm. Whereas the project is a very long-term thing. You don't see the money till the end. So that gets always put on the back burner because you got to run your business. You need money every month. You need to pay your employees. You got to pay your taxes.
Everything
you got to
is
pay for
custom.
inventory. You got everything.
It's
that
not like
too.
let's just change out the rotors.
But like,
well,
the
the rotors
how do you
are-
balance that, right? As a business owner, you say, all right, well, I can make this money right now, or do I spend my resources on making money 4 months down the road? Mm-hmm. That's the problem. That's the conundrum. For you, it's not that problem because you're not running a shop, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you don't have employees, and you don't have all the
have
other
no
stuff that goes with
overhead.
it, the overhead, everything. So I get that. And when that's why I try and understand when they're like, Rami, we got to wait a few weeks or months or whatever before we start in your car. I'm like, okay, no problem, because I run a business too, and I understand.
That's where the whole managing expectation thing comes
Yes.
in, and I think a lot of these guys don't do that. They don't communicate. They don't say, "Look, here's what's going on." They just
They try. They
6
try.
months go by, and you're like, "Is anything happening?" I mean,
Even with my Defender, the guy's really nice, but I dropped it off last Wednesday. I drove over there just because I happened to be in the area, and I went in, and it's just sitting. And he's like, yeah, we haven't even started on it yet. And it's been over a week. And he's like, what do you want done? And I went through everything with him and told him what I wanted, and then I got an estimate today. But if I didn't go do that, it would have sat there for another week, for
Right.
sure.
When you're a client and you have a custom project at a normal shop, one of the ways to get work done is to just be a pest and keep coming in.
Not a bad pest.
Not a bad.
You got to be
pest, but you
reasonable,
still
like
have to
JP said, reasonable expectations.
Yeah.
Right.
well,
If you
if
wait a week or
if
two and you don't hear
what
anything.
winds up happening? Look, there's always reasonable problems in the course of a build or any project. Anytime you're doing something, parts aren't going to be available.
Yeah.
You lose late,
Or
mechanic
the
something
plan
like
we
that.
had
Right.
is not working.
Right.
We have to change the plan, Rami. I'm like,
But
okay,
if you
all right,
don't even start until halfway through when you thought it was going to be done, then
Right.
all those normal problems become really, really compounded problems.
Yeah, they
and
exacerbate
become
everything.
that much more aggravating. Miami J, you're in a situation where you've had your car. You're not in an. I mean, you weren't building your car. You had a mishap, and you were just trying to basically. What's your story?
Yeah, what's your story?
I didn't have a mishap in that car, JP, but
How do you
What did you do, Jay? Huh? What's going
it
on?
was supposed to
Did
be
you,
off-road into a fence.
yeah, did you spin out into a berm?
I forgot. Sorry.
that wasn't me.
Oh, some other guy. It was the other Miami J.
Right.
Right.
wasn't me.
That was someone. All right.
Carfax is clean. And,
Didn't happen.
So no, I just decided I want to freshen up my car and took it in for some work. It's been there for quite a while.
Well, yeah, and I think you're kind of dealing with the issues that we were talking about. Is that nothing was done for so long that now the normal problems that are reasonable normal problems are just like backing this whole thing up. And
Absolutely. Again, you're right. So it was setting the expectations up front. I was expecting this to happen much quicker, and maybe a third of the time. So I unfortunately was in that situation where I kind of had to be the pest. You show up, and I don't know about you, but I don't particularly I'm not that guy. I don't want to be, hey, what's going on? But you kind of have to. But you're right.
wheel.
So things
baby?
happen. We get through part of the way through the build. We find out this isn't working. We got to do this. It's another couple weeks, and you're like, so those things that had the expectations been managed up front correctly, or the time duration that it just sat wasn't so long, probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But now they're amplified.
Yeah, no,
in life you have to under promise and over deliver.
Yeah,
that's like
and
hard
be
to do,
reasonable,
because you want to be agreeable and you want to please, but
I think I'm starting a build on a Defender, a 4-door.
See you in 10 years.
Yeah. Well, these guys are pretty professional. They pump them out every 6 months.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, they've got all the stuff. They're in Amsterdam, and it's going to be a 4-door pickup.
Amsterdam,
the country.
Country?
In the Netherlands. Yeah. So it's a 4-door pickup. It's got the huge big tires, big lift system on it, and air suspension and glass roof and wood panels in the back for the bed and all that stuff. So is it gonna take 6 months? It's probably gonna take a year.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm gonna go there and visit them. And see if the quality is good.
There too, right?
What's that?
It sounds like they've used some
a lot
of
of
your
drugs there.
previous
There's a lot of
cars
drugs
as
there.
a
Oh my God.
prototype.
Sorry?
Sounds like they've used some of your previous vehicles as like the model on what.
Oh my God!
What you're describing, I'm like,
what not to do?
Yeah,
what not to do?
No, he starts describing the car. I'm like, don't you have like 3 of those already?
This is a group like
JP said that to me. He goes, "You want another one?" I'm like, "I want 20. What are you talking about? I want a 2-door. I want a 4-door. I want a pickup. I love those things."
This is a
I'm
group
a lunatic.
like Icon, basically. They take the
Yes.
Defender and
It's very
they
much
make
like
it
Icon.
amazing like
Yeah.
that, like singer level kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Crazy. It's crazy, the quality and everything. But of course, I have certain expectations. All their stuff is like, they do an LS with an automatic. I'm like, nope, it has to be stick, and it has to be an LT4. It has to be 700 horsepower. And they're like, okay. So that changes things for them. So it might take a little longer, but the build quality looks pretty high. But I'm going to go check it out.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I mean, geez, in another continent, that's kind of hard to. It's one thing to have your car sitting in a shop, across town and be able to be pestering. If they're across an ocean, I mean, what are you going to call Oceangate and get yourself and find your way?
Oh
Get a
my
discount
God!
sub-ride
Way to
over
bring
there.
it back,
Had to
JP.
bring it around.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I think
we're good.
we're going to wrap up this episode. Let's take it out with a little bit more video of chefs.
Wow,
Awesome.
look at that Gia.
Carmen Gia, look
my
at that,
914
driving it through the Red Rock Canyon. What were you going to say?
It was built
Dwayne?
in the same factory as that Gia body.
Yeah, look at that.
Chef,
that looks
that's
fun,
some car,
Chef.
Chef. Wow.
That looks like a lot of fun. I mean, that's just like...
Look at that background.
Look at that shot. It's nice, JP.
JP was sitting on the back of the car.
He was straddling the car.
Yeah,
That's him. He's
standing on the
Actually, it
bumper.
was probably Lee.
That's how he had so much traction.
That's what it was. He had a little bit
Yeah.
more weight in the back.
Yeah, there it is, guys. All right, subscribe, like all the notification stuff. See you later. Bye.
Thank you, Godden.